Where the Mountain Meets the Moon, Chapter 14. Minli and the dragon had sat in the clearing and made camp for the night. And the sun fell and the moon rose. The dragon showed her how he could make sparks by scratching his claws against a stone, and they built a small campfire as Minli and the dragon made no moves to go farther into the forest. The monkeys had quieted down, but they still watched. There are plenty of peaches for all. Those monkeys do not have to be so greedy, the dragon said. Really? Minli asked. Yes, Dragon said, the monkeys are so foolish. They just want more and more, even when they do not need it. I have seen them refuse to let go of rotten mushrooms and fight over piles of mud. At those words, Minli sat up and her eyes flashed with quick thinking. Piles of mud! Suddenly, Minli remembered the two children fighting over the piles of mud as she had left the village. Instead of going inside for dinner, the children had clung to their pretend dishes of dirt. They were so foolish. Could the monkeys be that foolish? They were too selfish for trading or bribes, but maybe they were so greedy that they could be foolish enough to be tricked. Maybe I'm going to make rice, Minli said abruptly. Oh, the dragon said, you must be hungry. Too bad we cannot get you some peaches. It's not for me, Minli said, and she smiled mysteriously. It's for the monkeys. The monkeys, the dragon said. Why? If you mean it as a gift or as a way to bribe them, it won't work. They will take it and eat it, but they will not let you through. That's what I'm expecting, Minli said as she filled her pot with water and uncooked rice. She was bursting to tell Dragon her idea, but wasn't sure how much the monkeys understood of their words. She looked at him with sparkling eyes, but he only stared back blankly. You are, the dragon said. I do not understand. Don't worry, Minli said, and with her eagerness, she felt like the water she was boiling. I think I know how to get past the monkeys. The dragons watched as Minli stirred the big pot of rice. Through the rising steam, he could see the beady eyes of all the monkeys, glittering through the branches like hundreds of diamonds as they watched as well. The monkeys are watching, he whispered to Minli. Good, she whispered back. I hope they are. When the rice was done, the pot was overflowing with snowy white rice. It was so heavy that to take it off the fire to cool, she had to ask the dragon to move it for her. Minli had the dragon place it very close to the tree where the monkeys were watching. Then Minli tied her fishnet over the rice and pot. As Minli and the dragon turned away, they could hear the monkeys chattering. That fishnet will not stop the monkeys from taking the rice, the dragon said. It is tightly woven, but their hands will probably fit through. Oh, I know, Minli said as she put out the fire. Let's pretend that we think the rice is safe, and we are letting it cool. Though puzzled, the dragon nodded. They placed themselves a far distance from the rice, yet still within sight, put out the fire, and pretended to go to sleep. But Minli couldn't help peeking, though she tried to lie still. She was filled with excitement. Would her plan work? Would the monkeys take the rice? In the bright light of the moon, the monkeys glanced slyly at them and stole over to the rice. The dragon was right. Just as he'd said, the fishnet could not keep the monkeys from the rice. The slender hand slid through the holes of the fishnet, and each grabbed 2 big fistfuls of rice. But as the monkeys tried to carry the rice away, the net caught them. The holes in the net were large enough for their empty hands to fit through, but not large enough for their full fists. The monkeys screamed and pulled, and Minli and the dragon no longer pretended to be asleep. They couldn't help laughing as they watched the monkeys struggling to punch the air and each other with their trapped fists. Minli quickly packed her things, and the monkeys screeched and shrieked as they passed. The heavy pot of rice shook as the monkeys fought violently to get free. But the fishnet was strong and well woven, and since the monkeys were too greedy to let go of the rice, Minli and the dragon entered the peach grove and continued through the forest.